Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
And it's Coffee Ann here on ON, AM, and FM. Thanks for joining us this morning. It's Wednesday morning, November 16th, and it's raining outside. Still raining outside, everybody?
Drizzle.
Here we go.
Drizzle, yeah.
Drizzle.
We'll go with drizzle. Very good.
Play misty
and it
for
should,
me.
a little later on, we will that, John. All right, that's Melissa Smith of the St. Antoine Communities. Hi, Melissa.
Good morning, everybody.
And John Ward is here. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
And we thought Amanda LaRose from Navigant was coming in, but Melissa spoke to Amanda yesterday, and she said she couldn't make it. So,
But she wasn't sure if someone else was coming in
I
her
don't,
absence, so
hasn't-
possibly
Maybe someone's coming. Okay.
a surprise guest that Tim arranged that she's not aware of,
let me see if I
possibly.
can get a hold of Tim and see if he can give us any more
And I think he's
information.
on a work trip. I feel like he told us last
yeah.
week he was in
It was a
Vegas
2-day
or something.
A 2-day thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's somewhere.
Let's get a first message from the St. Antoine Communities, Melissa, and we'll move forward from there.
Yes, so for those of you that don't know a lot about St. Antoine Community, we are a large long-term care campus located in North Smithfield and on the line of Blackstone, Mass. and Woonsocket. And on our property, we offer an expansive continuum of services that range from assisted living to short and long-term skilled care. We have a state-of-the-art rehab center, private hospice suite, as well as a large secured memory care unit. And the two buildings on our property are the Villa at St. Antoine, which is our 76-apartment assisted living facility, and the Residence at St. Antoine, which is our 180-bed short and long-term skilled care facility. So if you are presently at a crossroads with your loved one and trying to determine when is the right time to seek more help and support, I encourage you to reach out to me. I'd be happy to walk you through your options. You can reach me at 767-3500 or email me at msmith@stantoine.net.
All right, Melissa, of course, the big question of the day deals with Melissa, John. Did you get caught up in the whole Taylor Swift ticket
Oh my
snafu
gosh.
that happened yesterday?
So this has consumed my life since last. Was it last
your life.
week? Oh well, if you have two teenage girls at home, for the listeners right now, if you have two teenage girls at home, you can relate. So I've been poked about this now. I think it was 2 weeks ago. We had to register for the pre-sale email.
Yes, you had to be a verified
and
pre-sale
then
person.
Monday you would get this magical email that would give you permission to log in yesterday for tickets.
Following this, John?
Which we did not get
Oh, you
the
didn't get
magical
the
email on
no.
Monday. We got
Oh.
waitlisted for a potential magical email last night, which we did not get either.
All
So
right.
there's supposedly some whole scientific process as to who is selected, why they're selected.
Scientific.
It's ridiculous. If you had bought tickets back to I think it was her,
First tour?
maybe it was the, which I'm not even sure which one it was. Whatever tour it was from 10 years ago, you might have, the emails would have correlated, and that might have automatically indicated that you're a real fan, so you should have gotten tickets. Whatever it
You're
is.
a real fan.
But my point is, no, we did not get them. However,
Wow.
getting aggressive messages from my daughter in school yesterday when she's supposed to be paying attention.
Yes.
At all of her friends that were getting alerts from their parents saying,
And
we
you
got them, we
weren't.
got them, we got them, we got them. Mom, where are
What?
ours? Are we getting them? And trying to explain to your kid remotely while you're in a meeting. It's inappropriate to be texting mom from school, but it's also inappropriate to be bothering mom at work when I'm telling you I'm in a meeting about tickets, right? So the long and short is we did not get them. Many people did not get them. Obviously, the word on the street is there were hours of Ticketmaster issues. It was all over the news last night. And I will tell you, I went on to StubHub this morning out of curiosity to already see what the upsale was going to be. Tickets in the 300s at Gillette, which is like the highest
Yeah, the
tier,
high level. You're at the
right?
top.
We're going for $900 a
900.
piece.
I heard that. The good seats were going for like $25K. So
I think I shared on the air, was it last week, that my max would be, and I got a crazy look from all of you
Well, it was
that I
300
said
a
I
ticket.
would maybe do
300.
500. If I 500, it would be Christmas. My girls both have spring birthdays, so it would be Christmas, birthdays combined, plus experience, plus whatever. It's a memory. We had an amazing time at the last concert. However, I draw the line. So of course, on the ride to school this morning, my daughter's like, $900. I'll buy my own ticket. I have a job, and I'm like, are you going alone? Because I am not paying $900 for myself, my sister, and my other daughter, Emily. I'm like, I will not do that. That's
Yeah.
not okay.
Yeah.
But the kids today they just can't process the value of something like that. And I tried to break it down. I use Disney as my point of reference. I would rather take $4,000 for a family of 4 and apply it to,
Go for a week.
I mean, if you can
day.
even afford a week in
Maybe
Disney.
a day now.
All right, a day.
Give me like 3 or 4 days in Disney with that.
Yeah.
I'll do that. But I can't justify a 4-hour block of a concert, even though I love her. It's
Right.
just, so we have a solution. And the solution is they should not be selling tickets through Ticketmaster. There should be an auditioning process at Gillette.
But there's no such thing other than Ticketmaster.
But go back old school, box
it's
to
one of-
box
Oh, the old school.
office.
Go stand in line.
Stand in line,
It's one of
ask
the
me
few
to audition.
monopolies. It's
It
one of the
is.
few monopolies allowed in this country.
I don't
is
know why.
Ticketmaster.
There used to be another ticket.
Oh, there is. Ticketmaster's about to buy them.
Are they? Okay. Well, there you go.
Oh, maybe I don't know. It's a disaster, and it's unfortunate because there's a lot of kids that want to go, and
Well, sure.
you hear stories. There's a crazy story my daughter read about some 25-year-old who bought tickets on the first floor a few rows back, and she's reselling them for $20,000 to pay for her wedding.
Well, there you go.
So I guess there's some charitable moments, right? Like you can sell your tickets and afford your dream wedding.
Yes.
This is nothing personal. It's more speaking to the cultural issue. It reminds me of the Saturday Night Live skit with William Shatner attending a fictitious
Star Trek convention.
Star Trek convention
Get a
where
life.
he got up there and said,
What's the matter with you people?
"People,
What's the matter with you people?
get a life."
Go
What's the
outside.
matter with you
Go
people?
outside. Look at nature.
Oh my gosh.
But what was funny about, well, not funny, but amusing to me anyway, about the story of the whole Ticketmaster, how they came out and said, ooh, there was an unprecedented amount of people trying to get tickets. And when I'm thinking, but you sent out the codes to the people that were buying tickets. You knew how many people were going to
Right.
try to buy.
Yeah.
Of course.
So where's the snafu?
Right.
You act like, oh, we're all surprised all these people showed up when you,
know what?
knew how many people were going to show
They
up.
made a mistake because they dumped when I registered 2 weeks ago for that early email.
Yeah.
There were 10 shows up in, we'll say from Midwest to the Northeast
Yeah.
that they were advertising. Select your top 3 shows that you want tickets for to put you into those buckets. Right away, that's your mistake because you're dumping in
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
10 times the amount of volume for the Gillette show. Gillette was 2 shows, it became 3 shows. Like it was a disaster. It's right there. So just do it by show. I don't compartmentalize, make it a little bit.
I did that when Bruce Springsteen tickets went on
Yes.
sale. They did the exact same thing. Okay, to get your verified code, but pick your 5
Yeah.
shows that you like to go to. I'm like, well, he was coming to Boston, and he was coming to Mohegan Sun. I said, I really don't want to go any other place than that, but you couldn't move forward. You had
You
to
had
pick
to.
3 more. So I went, all right, Albany, Buffalo, Madison Square Garden.
Right.
And I got the email. Congratulations, I won tickets, the chance to buy tickets in Buffalo. And that was it.
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
Okay.
great. I deleted it and went on my day. So,
Well,
I
so
didn't
that's
even
what
try.
I guess that's what you hope happens when you've been quote unquote waitlisted, right?
Yeah.
For your area. I had selected the 2 shows in Gillette, New Jersey, and Philadelphia. I was
Hmm. Okay.
willing. I'm like, you know what? It's May.
make a
My
trip.
nephew goes to Villanova.
Oh, there you
I'll
go, place
make
to
like
stay.
a weekend out of it, whatever. My sister would be coming with us, and it's my nephew's
yeah.
mom. But it just, it's a turnoff, and it's unfortunate because that's not what Taylor Swift's about. Those of us that are Swifties and real fan,
Swifties.
which you're like laughing a little bit inside, and I can see it. But she's a good compared to some of the other artists out there that I would prefer
Yeah.
my daughters not follow.
Yeah.
This is a culture phenomenon. It is a Beatles-ish type thing, but the bottom line is she's an artist and she is a poet, and there's more to us liking her than just the performance.
And it's
So-
going to be sold out.
At
it
least she
will
didn't
be.
call her a musician.
Well,
She
she's a singer.
is. What
Well,
is
she's a-
your? Oh my
She's
goodness.
a singer. She doesn't play an instrument, does
We
she?
need to. We're going to have an off-air conversation. I'm going to play a few things for you.
Let's-
Artistic.
Let's
sound
just say
bites.
I'm not a big concert goer because, frankly, I
Days are behind you.
well, I mean, music to me is about music appreciation, and concerts are not the place you go for music appreciation unless you're going to a concert of an orchestra,
All right.
because they're not putting on a musical performance; they're putting on a performance. And the music
All right, that's your
is what
opinion,
gets
but okay.
the music is what gets you there.
All right.
But the quality of the sound is not.
Well, it depends on
peak
it depends
performance.
on who you see and where you see them.
I agree.
Yes, but if you're at Gillette Stadium, I'm sorry, I just can't imagine that it makes the quality of the music.
Well, you've
and-
seen Taylor Swift at Gillette.
I
How
have.
was the sound?
Amazing. Actually, I will agree with you, though. The sound in Fenway, for example, I've been to several concerts at Fenway and Gillette. I think Fenway has a better sound. I've heard it depends on where you're seated, so maybe I just had the luck of where I was positioned. But I agree, there are some performance type concerts. This is one of them. It will be beyond the talent, the lights and the whatever. That's for my kids' enjoyment. But I've seen Zach Brown Band recently in Fenway, and that was a tremendous sound. And that's not performance based. That is like a 10-piece band up on stage with incredible talent and stuff like that. So those are concerts that I also see as well.
That's
and,
musical concert as opposed
but
to a
that venue
performance
to me,
concert.
outdoors at Fenway,
And as far
does
as
well
Taylor
for my-
Swift's quality, yes, she's a very gifted poet. She can put words together. Her music, underlying musical.
There's college classes about her,
underlying-
there are college classes. People
underlying-
pay for classes
the-
to
the
learn
un-
about her artistic ability.
But the underlying music is redundant.
All right. Now,
The words, the lyrics are good.
Yeah.
She changes up the beats from time to time, but underlying basic foundational musicality is limited.
John
All
is
right.
not a Swiftie.
I guess not.
He is not
Now,
a Swiftie.
Is it possible
I'm
now?
not much of many modern musicians that sell a lot of records.
Can you go to Ticketmaster.com, not today, but maybe in a week, where they open up the tickets to the general public?
Well,
and
Friday
still- and
morning
still
is supposed to be,
to the general public.
yeah, Friday morning is supposed to be that moment.
Okay.
So-
are you going to try then?
I am a professional, so I have things to do, and I can't sit in front of my computer all day. And so I'm going to try to charge my mom, grandma, if you're listening.
There you go.
Help a girl out. So yeah, because it's going to be hours. It's going to be click, reset, like reload, whatever.
Oh,
just
sure.
kind of
Pass it
refresh
over
the
and
screen.
over,
Yeah,
over
so
and
that's
over
what
and
it's going to
over
be.
until you
And
get into the queue,
Exactly.
basically. Okay.
yeah,
Well,
so
at least the tickets shouldn't be in the $900 range at that point.
isn't that it's crazy?
It is crazy.
Because the panic has set in. Everyone panicked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
So some people paid it. Good for you. You're going, but I
I
still have
remember
$4,000 in my pocket.
right.
Yes.
So I remember, back in the good old days, we had to, actually go to the venue and wait there, and people used to sleep out the night before. It
See,
became
I actually would embrace that. I think that's working
I
for
remember
it.
the cottage
I got
industry.
into a Volkswagen Beetle with
Yeah.
my brother to drive all the way down to Central Park so I could get online for the pre-ticket tickets just because Linda Ronstadt was performing in Pirates
Ooh, I
of
like Linda
Penzance.
Ronstadt.
Wow, Pirates of Penzance. Wow. But there was a whole cottage industry. It happened in the big cities where you would hire someone to go stand in line for you. I mean, they were doing nothing, so you gave them $100. You keep my place in line. I don't know if they call them or whatever. Okay, I'm almost there. Or here's $100 for you. Here's $500. Buy as many tickets as you can.
I do that for my wife at Rentham Outlets when we go Christmas shopping, and we walk into the store and I get in line and she shops, and by the time she's finished shopping,
I love
I'm
that.
up near the front of the line. She comes over and
So you
brings
get-
the stuff.
Oh, that's
You're a good
smart.
husband,
I
John.
just get right in
That's
line
a
right
nice
away.
thing to do.
You should-
I don't think my husband would ever do that for me. That's really nice of you.
You should be selling, if you ever get a parking spot, you should sell your parking
Sell
spot to
parking,
people.
yeah.
Because that's just insane over there at Christmas time.
Are you ready for that? It's
reach
coming up, you know, you're a week away.
You reach a point where you realize that you're better off parking out in the corner and
Mm-hmm.
walking for the exercise.
Yeah, but I did that one time. I think it was after Christmas, and my wife had to return something
Oh,
to
that's the
some
worst.
store, and I never found a parking spot. But we were just stuck in traffic trying to go around the place. I said, "Hop out,
Go take care of it.
take care
And
of it,
I'll be running
just,
around in a
Just
circle."
follow this line and just come back in." And she did.
Mm-hmm.
Did the whole transaction back in the car, and we left, and never found a parking
It's,
spot.
I'm already cringing. It's that time of year.
well, my understanding is the way she describes it to me, the best time to go is a weekday evening. Don't wait
Really?
till the weekend.
Well, not the weekend. I would think like right when they open. Maybe what do they open at 10 or 9 in the morning? If you can get there right when they
2
open.
p.m. would be ideal, or 11 a.m. or something like that.
All right.
But most people work during the day and couldn't do that.
Right.
So
It's a funny
the
thing.
next
So
best choice is a weekday evening, a Tuesday or Wednesday.
we're near Lincoln Mall, so the Home Goods, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Five Below Plaza. I could go there any time of day because I run there often for work to just pick up various things for events we're having and whatnot. No matter whether it's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, that place is packed.
Always crowded.
It's ridiculous. I'm like,
Yeah,
who works?
it's,
It's middle of the day. It is the middle of the work week, middle of the day, and it is packed.
Right. And,
crazy.
And I don't know how it works out, but I don't think I've ever driven into that parking lot except 10 minutes before Stop and Shop opens to get a spot that is less than 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces out down the row. And that's not even including the places where you've got handicap spots for the first six layers.
Is that someone calling in to
yeah.
say that they got Taylor Swift tickets and they want to
No.
sell them to me?
No, other way around. 766-1240. The caller does
They're
say...
having lunch with Taylor Swift,
Oh,
and they
is
want
that
to know
what
if you
it
want to
is?
join them.
No, the caller says they are not a Taylor Swift fan and never will be.
Oh, and stop talking about
Caller
it.
agrees with John Ward totally.
Is that Tim Draper
Finally.
calling in? I'm just wondering.
Finally, somebody.
Somebody signed John's wife. No.
No, that's.
Well, we know the demographics of
There-
who's listening
there
in too,
are.
I'm going to guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Bob Dylan. He writes great music. He writes great lyrics.
Sounds awful.
He sounds awful.
Well, that's our opinion. You know, some people think he sounds great, and then they love him.
They love him because it's a style. But
Yes, you're right.
And I think I've heard even the station owner here, Dave, mention that he always people love Frank Sinatra, and they said, "Well, what a great voice he has."
Yeah.
And he said, No. Frank was a song stylist.
Yes.
He was not a singer.
Couldn't really sing.
Yeah.
Not a singer.
But that's Dave's opinion, of course. All right, we got to take more coming up, but we I wanted to hear the whole Taylor Swift story, and if you were lucky enough to get tickets.
And I feel bad. I
unfortunately, you
consumed the
didn't.
whole first
No,
quarter of
I-
the show,
no,
and you've
I
got
think-
listeners saying,
think it's-
"Stop talking about Taylor Swift."
I-
So we're done.
It's
We'll
a good,
put a pin
but
in
it's
it.
But it's a good story, and I wanted to hear how it went trying to get tickets.
It didn't
for Taylor
end well.
Swift. It's not over yet. You still
Stay
you
tuned,
still
right,
might
right.
get a shot at this.
And don't worry, I've seen Twitter alive with David Cicilline saying we have to look into this monopoly that Ticketmaster has
now
become.
we're going to look into it.
Oh yeah, he's
All
looking
right.
at Facebook and Twitter, so we might as well look at
people complain.
Ticketmaster too.
There's
No.
more pressing
Okay.
matters I would want him to worry about, but.
Melissa, let's get a second message from the St. Antoine communities, please.
Yeah, my message is short and sweet. I will just say that because I alluded to it on the air last week that we will be working with Navigant on it's our 5th annual Silent Wreath auction at St. Antoine Community, and I will be actually meeting up with Amanda LaRoche today from Navigant to hand off 20 wreaths to her and her team so that they can get them all decorated up and donate them back to us in time for the holiday season. So I believe by the 5th of December, we will be displaying those wreaths at 10 Rhodes Avenue at our St. Antoine residence location. All the wreaths will be decorated by Navigant and displayed for 2 weeks, so you can stop by anytime and put a bid on the wreaths. I usually take photos of them all individually and put them up onto our Facebook page, as well as our website, so you can get a little preview, and then come on in and do a silent auction bid. We would love the support. It usually generates about $1,000 for us, which is wonderful this time of year. But it's less about the dollars raised, more about the fact that it really brings a lot of spirit and excitement to our community, and our residents love it, our visitors love it, staff enjoy it. It brings a lot of decorations to our main corridor. So if you're interested in learning how you can come in and do a silent bid, or even if you want to donate an additional wreath or two, we happily receive those as well. You can reach me at 767-3500. Thank you.
Thanks, Melissa. The Coffee and program will continue. Please stick around.
You know, when you're paying the right price for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And when it comes to your insurance, there's no one better at getting the right price for your protection than Allstate agents Kara and Celeste Benjamin, because they know when it comes to your bank account, every penny counts towards something bigger, something better. Like a nicer car, that home update you've been dreaming of, or a phone that's fresh out of the box. Those little or big things that we work so hard for. And Kara and Celeste Benjamin want to help you work a little less by getting you the coverage you need and the savings you deserve when you switch to Allstate. Contact Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. 765-5000 for a free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. And you're in good hands with Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
WOON Woonsocket Radio, ON, AM, and FM.
It is Coffee In here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan. I did get a message out to Tim Draper about anyone coming in from Navigate Credit Union. He has not got back to me, so I'm assuming nobody's coming, which is okay. That happens from time to time. Melissa Smith from St. Antoine Communities is here. John Ward is here as well. And because of the whole thing with Ticketmaster and the Taylor Swift snafu that happened yesterday, David Cicilline, Congressman from Rhode Island, has chimed in.
He's
John,
on it.
And what does he say?
And he said, Ticketmaster's excessive wait time and fees are completely unacceptable as seen in today's Taylor Swift tickets and are a symptom of a larger problem. It's no secret that Live Nation Ticketmaster is an unchecked monopoly, and apparently Live Nation was the other company, and that's
Yes,
but they've
bought
already
them. Well, took
merged.
them over, yeah.
And then he follows with the merger of these companies should never have been allowed in the first place, which is why I have joined Frank Pallone, Jerry Nadler, and Bill Pascrell to call in DOJ to investigate Live Nation's effort to jack up prices and strangle competition.
Well, that's it. You know, the Springsteen tickets were like $1,500 before. And they said,
And
well,
after
that's
we
what the market's going to bear. They said.
After
I
we
said,
take
really?
care of that important issue, we'll start looking into bombs dropping in Poland.
Oh, that's right. That's right. But speaking of bombs, Donald Trump made it official in the biggest, not really a shocker yesterday. It would have been shocking if he said, "I'm not running."
Yeah.
But I did see, and I believe a lot of Republican senators and congressmen feel this way. It was he was a guy from Texas, and I can't remember his name, but all he said when they asked for a reaction about Donald Trump running, he just said, I will support the Republican nominee. And that's all. That's it. If it's Trump, it's Trump. If it's not, if it's somebody else, if it's DeSantis, if it's Pence, I will support the Republican nominee. And I bet a lot of people, Republicans in the House and the Senate, feel that way.
He's not going to get a strong response of loyal support from the vast majority of House and Senate members because of the negative impact he had in the outcome of the midterm election. I mean, he undermined them by supporting candidates who the Democrats helped him support that were, what would they call them? Let's just say they weren't the best choices to be running for Congress and the
All right.
Senate. And they ended up losing in many cases by a small minority of votes, but they lost. And had there been more moderate candidates who were legitimately looking to run but were outspent by the Democrats and Donald Trump, they would have had a much better showing. Trump is the pinnacle of what came out of the Tea Party movement, the taxed enough already movement, which turns into some sort of coalition in Congress that's ultra-conservative, and Trump fed off of that. And I watched a little of what he had to say last night, and he spit out more exaggerations of fact and false information in the first 10 minutes that it was ridiculous. The $80 billion worth of equipment in Afghanistan that was left behind, which turns out was never a true statement. It was just what we totally spent on supporting the Afghan army over the entire course
sort of correct.
over the entire course of the war.
Yeah.
And the value of the equipment that was left there probably was no more than a few $1 billion, and for the most part, it was destroyed or made inoperable before we left. So he wasn't regulated by truth again last night. So he's not picked on by the press, because as I listened, I was able to discern clearly the things he was saying that are just wrong. And shouldn't even be said because they're so wrong. And they feed into this hysteria that he's generated with his popularity through exaggeration. And he's certainly not presidential material. And much of what he claims is just not true in this case. It was one thing back in 2016 where he says, I'm going to go kick the system in the butt. Mm-hmm. And he did. Mm-hmm. But then he became something else. And
All right. Well,
so I have no particular interest in him.
things may change, but you never know who's going to run against him for the nomination.
I'm hoping that he runs into dismal failure early on. The problem I fear is that he could then turn around and try to run as an independent candidate in many states and effectively do to whoever
Damage.
the qualified candidate is, like former President George H.W. Bush got taken out by Ross Perot against Bill Clinton.
Do you remember that, Melissa?
I do.
Okay.
It,
You're
I was
just a
I was
kid,
around.
know. All right.
Not that young.
he may undermine a legitimate presidential candidate's chances
It may,
in the
it may
Republican
happen.
Party.
So it's all just starting right now.
And of course, a lot of it will depend on who the Democrats choose. And I can't imagine Joe Biden and
Running
Kamala
for
Harris
re-election.
being the team to beat coming 2024.
Well, will they just elevate Harris to president?
God,
And-
that would be worse. You realize she didn't make, nobody gave her money in the primaries back when, and she dropped out very early because she was caustic.
Okay.
So no, she is not a presidential candidate for the party. There are many others that could be, but not her.
Okay. Well, we'll see what we'll see. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens on that whole front. And you're right, John. Yesterday, what's the deal with the bombs being dropped on Poland? That the U.S. says they didn't come from Russia.
No, they apparently were.
Where'd they come from?
They were apparently, the latest I read just before I came in this morning was that they may have been Ukrainian missile defense missiles. They were
Pointed in
defensive
the wrong
missiles.
direction.
They may have been pointed at something that was incoming, but the direction, if they
And we
missed, carried them into Poland.
Ah.
And of course, then you heard that it was 50. I think Trump said they landed 50 miles inside Poland. Well, they didn't.
Well, it's not 50,
They
right?
landed maybe a mile or two inside
Yeah.
of Poland, which means the arc of the missile probably wasn't gauged right to avoid that kind of problem. But if it's true, then it was a Ukrainian defense missile against targeting either Russian jets or Russian missiles. It missed its target. And
Yeah.
ended up landing in Poland, unfortunately, and killing some people. So
But
let's not start a war with Russia over an accident.
But has the Ukraine accepted the
I
responsibility?
don't know. This is all
I haven't heard
that
of
was
that.
that was the last story I read before coming in, and I think Biden was the one that actually said it. Is that the understanding of this is that it's Ukrainian based. But during the next break, I'll check to see what the
Well,
most
you can.
updated information is.
All right. So we'll see what's going on there. Other things going on just nationwide. I guess the arraignment for the alleged shooter in Virginia is going to be today. It was supposed to happen yesterday, but for whatever reason it didn't. So it's been moved to today. And I heard the father of the alleged shooter yesterday actually say on the news, he's not a bad guy.
Well, of course not.
I'm like, yeah, he may have been wonderful for the first 20 years of his life, but
he's a good guy that had a
he
bad day.
He doesn't know what happened. I go, but he killed 3 people. Or doesn't that automatically make you the bad guy?
Well, this
think
was about football, wasn't it?
Well, he was
Yeah.
on the team, not this year, but in past
Past
years. And it was some kind of field trip with the football team, among others. And he shot 4 football players. 3 of them died. 1 survived. And then there was a 5th person that was shot that was also survived.
Yeah, you'd have to know what motivated him.
I think it could be lack of playing time.
It could be bullying.
That's
It
always
could
the
be-
assumption, right? You're going to
Yes.
assume.
It could be people mocking him
Could
or
be.
ridiculing
bullying.
him for not making the team.
Or you were on the team, now you're not.
Right.
Or
Well, that's
you're
what I mean.
lousy.
Yeah.
It could be.
There's a lot of possible motivations.
So there's that one, and then there's the whole other college problem in Idaho
Awful.
with those 4 kids that were killed in their apartment. Stabbed, yes.
Apparently, it was
4.
pretty gruesome.
Yeah. What did I read? Serrated edge on one side, kind of flat on the other side, kind of thing. And they have no idea out there. And that town, and I've been out in that area of the country. Moscow, by the way, is in the northern part of Idaho. It's almost in Canada. It's that far up. I was telling Dave, I said, if you go to that town, you don't fly in to Boise where the airport is. You fly into Spokane, Washington, and then drive over.
drive east.
It's closer. That's the way it's done up there. But they haven't found anybody up there, and kids from the University of Idaho up there have already said, "That's it. I'm going home for Thanksgiving right now."
Yeah, they just
And
abandoned the
and
school.
the president
apparently.
went to the teachers and say, "You got to give these kids some slack, and we'll see everybody back after Thanksgiving."
Well,
'Cause
right.
they are that freaked out about what's going on up there.
I learned the geographic lesson you learned when I was going to Durango, Colorado, which is in the southwest corner of Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
You don't fly into Denver. You fly into Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Isn't that weird? It's
then
weird
you
to us
still-
in this
And
area
you
of the
still
country.
have to drive 3.5 hours to get there.
That's right.
I mean, you can fly into Durango if you want to pay $500 for the puddle jumper that gets you from Albuquerque there, but nah, I'll skip that. I'll
Yeah.
rent the car and drive.
Nothing
like
My
unlimited
nephew was
mileage.
on the western end of Idaho, and when he flies home, he has to go to Salt Lake City and fly out of Utah. It's bizarre
Yeah.
out there where the it's not like around here. We just you go
Spatial
to the
relationships
States.
we can't appreciate.
Oh, no, not at all.
I'm going to the supermarket. When are you going to be back? Oh, in about 6 hours.
That's right. You really got to stock up. All right, we're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program. It's time for the weather forecast being brought to you by Compassion International.
Low pressure in the northeastern United States is producing widespread rain and snow, makes precipitation too for New England, New York, and Pennsylvania today. Near the coast, mainly a rain event from Portland, Maine to Boston, Providence to New York City, but for the interior.
Rain and thunderstorms most of the day today, high of 55. Expect about a quarter of an inch of rain, and winds could gust to 23 miles per hour out of the east. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, overnight low of 31. Thursday's weather sunny with a high of 45 and a west wind up to 23 miles per hour. Friday, mostly sunny and 44, windy. Saturday, mostly sunny and 44. Sunday, mostly sunny and 44, breezy again. Monday, sunny with a high of 39 for the whole day. And Tuesday, sunny and 45.
Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street, we have cloudy skies, a little light drizzle, and 44 degrees. Families in poverty are facing a global food crisis. $50 provides a food kit to feed a family for a month. Just text the word radio to 97646.
Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal real special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogi with onions and dirty sour cream, or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported goods. We're open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 9 to 6, Wednesdays 9 to 5, and Saturdays 8 to 5. Follow us on Facebook to learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street in Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
When you visit the Menard Locature Funeral Home's website, you'll find a wealth of important information, including frequently asked questions about the various options of pre-planning funeral etiquette, visitation, personal help to help the family, and many others. Remember, pre-planning is safe and helpful to family members who may be overwhelmed with details and responsibilities. It also assures that the deceased's final wishes are met. Their website will also feature several photos of their two beautiful and classic funeral homes at 127 Carrington Avenue, Woonsocket, and 71 Central Street, Manville. You'll be treated with courtesy and understanding. Their main phone number is 762-1825. Menard Locature Funeral Homes.
Hi, this is Gary Smith. I hope you listen to our all-request music show called Do You Remember These? Saturdays, 4 to 7 p.m. here on ON Radio.
This portion of Coffee In is sponsored by Navigant Credit Union.
Credit Union 101. A credit union is not a big bank. The difference is a big bank is owned by shareholders. A credit union is owned by its members. A credit union can offer everything a big bank does, like providing cutting-edge digital tech. And a credit union does one thing better than any big bank. It cares for its members. In fact, caring is in our DNA. Navigant Credit Union. All the big bank tech without the big bank. Member NCUA.
Coffee In on ONAM and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Melissa Smith and John Warden. John, you just looked it up about the missile. And what did they say?
Yeah,
The latest?
it was Ukrainian defense missiles fired at Russian cruise missiles that were being launched to attack the Ukraine.
They just missed the missiles.
And they missed the missiles, and because of the trajectory, it fell
Into Poland.
slightly into Poland by a couple of miles and landed in a place where 2 people were killed.
Okay.
So they consider it an accident, and of course political rhetoric blames it on Russia for fighting an illegal war.
Well, they started the war, so it's their fault
Yes.
altogether. All right. There's something I wanted to bring up. Oh, yeah, this man in Woonsocket that led police on quite a chase yesterday. Woonsocket and Lincoln and North Smithfield and Burrillville
I missed it.
Yeah.
Covered the whole territory.
Yep. And his name is Ryan Nadeau. He was taken into custody after a brief struggle. After they finally stopped his car, they had to use the strips,
So-
the spike strips.
Did it say why they were chasing him?
Yeah. Well, erratic driving. So he is facing DUI and other felony charges.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they said he did lose control of his pickup truck several times, and I think he hit a car. I think he was riding on his rims as well, which makes you lose control as well.
After you
So-
hit the spikes, it doesn't take long before the tires
They
are shred and you're riding the
yeah.
rims.
So,
So-
so that was yesterday afternoon that they had a good time with that. So, so what are the body cameras coming for the police?
Well, it should be on the next agenda to have the administration authorization to enter into a contract to do that program. I've asked for more information related to how much we spend on tasers every year and to find out if there was any statewide or other locality bid process that's been gone through to acquire these using that company. Hopefully we'll be provided with enough information that we'll be supporting them entering into that contract, which should put the cameras in place, I would think, shortly after the first of the year, after things are made, arrangements are made, and then there's going to have to be some training for officers who will be assigned duty to download video when it becomes necessary, teach them how to not edit the video, but to properly pixelate it for innocent parties who may be involved in the video display in order for it to be used as evidence if it's necessary.
Okay. Just dialing it back to Trump once again in his announcement. You know it's not good when the former campaign chairman for Trump in Rhode Island, Joe Trillo, says, quote, "It's a bad idea that Trump is running." So it's like, wow, I don't think he'll be the campaign chairman in Rhode Island this time around.
An irrelevant politician speaking about an irrelevant politician.
Well, he was relevant then. That's why we got a quote from him. But,
He was?
Well, relevant in that he was the campaign chairman for Trump. Not that he got him elected here in Rhode Island. I think we went blue. Didn't we go blue?
We did.
Okay, with Biden. So
Yes. Only Ronald Reagan, I
Has
think,
ever
was the
taken Rhode
last
Island?
guy that took Rhode Island.
as a Republican.
His second term
Yeah. Wow. I didn't realize that.
against Dukakis.
The Duke.
I think that year, wasn't that the one that Massachusetts was the only state that voted for him, that he won?
88, right? That was 88.
No, that would have been 84.
Was it? No,
88
no.
88 was
84,
George Bush.
No, 84 I remember because that was the first year I voted. That was Mondale and Reagan.
Well, who did Dukakis run against?
George Bush.
George Bush. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So that
All
wouldn't have been- that would have been
So it was
92.
Mondale who lost
Yes.
all the states
Except
except,
Minnesota.
except
No,
Massachusetts. He lost his own state.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
No, I'll take your word on
check.
that
I'll
one.
check at the next
I
commercial
thought he
break.
took. I only thought he took Minnesota.
I don't think he did.
No. Well, okay.
It's like Al Gore, who didn't take Tennessee,
Right. All right.
so he jetted off to the world.
Now, Melissa, your daughters are not seniors in high school yet, right?
No.
Okay,
Nope.
so all right, this doesn't affect them. Doesn't affect my daughter either. But Rhode Island College has announced that today is Free Rick Day, and so if you are planning to apply to Rhode Island College today only, it won't cost you anything. So it's a savings of $50.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you know,
application fee, yeah.
$50 is $50, and so they picked today to be the day. And so if you want to, I bet they get a ton of
Smart.
applications
It's
today.
a smart marketing.
And say, hey,
Yeah.
why not? We'll pick one day. I haven't heard of any other colleges that have decided to
No.
do that. Has your daughter looked at any colleges? Does she want to go to college?
It is on her mind all the time.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Which it's cringeworthy as a mom because you just want to say, live in the moment. You're 15. You're a sophomore. Your whole life
Oh,
ahead
no
of
junior?
you. No.
Oh, okay. My
Take
daughter's a
breath.
junior, so
Yeah.
we've started going on.
Yeah, I see. A year
Open
from now,
houses.
I'm okay with being a little more.
Yeah.
But my husband works on a college campus, and I think it's because she's surrounded by that all the time. One of her cousins, my nephew, that she looks up to, went to college this year. She's living vicariously
Oh, okay.
through him. Plus, academically, she's in the top of her class, so she's, excited for the next level, next challenge. But I think there's
your
so much
husband-
pressure. There's so much pressure
Is
on
your
these kids in high
husband-
school.
Husband pushing Holy Cross?
I have to tell you, In a way, yes, but not for the reasons you would think.
Money.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of right
there's
away.
an advantage, obviously,
Yeah.
for her to be able to go tuition free. And there's 40 other Jesuit schools that she would have the option of attending as well.
wow, okay.
Assuming she can get into them. But, Holy Cross has a great reputation.
Sure.
Obviously, ideally, you don't want to go to college with your dad. But
you won't
at
see
the
'em.
same exactly. That's what so I'm trying to point that out to her. For right now, she just wants to go as far away as she possibly can.
Oh, going to California?
That's what she wants. But I think we're going to try to reel her in a bit. But again, trying to just avoid all that right now. I think kids today are under enough pressure and stress every day. I'm sure you're sensing that in your household as well, and emotions of a teenage girl on top of all of that. So
gosh.
just trying to say, give it some time. Next year we'll worry about it. Don't think about it right now. But they start earlier and earlier. She was getting college things back in 8th grade. It's
That's
crazy.
8th grade, wow.
Well, National Junior Honor Society automatically
Oh,
puts
okay.
you on a
On a
mailing
list.
list, right? So then you just start getting hit stuff, right away. It's a lot. It's a lot. And it's so expensive, by the way.
Of course it is.
College tuition is out of
When
control.
my wife and my daughter and I, we went down to Rhode Island College. It was
Yeah.
a couple weekends back. They had a open house, and we talked to one of the admission guys and the financial aid people. And we're from out of state, so what are we looking at? And he said, well, we got this deal where you pay in-state tuition plus 50%. 5 would have been great. Plus 50%. So that's around right there, 16 grand right there. Well, then you got to live on campus, and so it brought it up to 29,000 for Rhode
Yeah.
Island College.
For a small Rhode Island college.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now he's trying to sell it as, well, that's comparable to if she went to the UMass Amherst as an in-state student. Well, I don't know. We haven't looked at UMass Amherst, and we're not going to. That school is just way too large. But I was just thinking in my head, okay, 29,000. You're already $5,000 higher than the school she really wants to go to.
Yeah.
Which is in Massachusetts. So
I mean, you're near
Rick's-
Stonehill, you're
Rick's
near
out.
Wheaton, you have a bunch of schools around you, and all of
All
those
the
schools
private
are,
schools,
they're all 60, 70,000, if not more. I
Yeah.
think I've lost track a few years ago, but it's even Bentley. I think Bentley's up to 72,000 a year or so.
Yeah.
Nick's at Holy Cross is up. Nick's my husband. I'm referencing like everyone knows him. I think that's up to 78,000 now, and it's just how, how. But,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's.
And doesn't the College of the Holy Cross have some special privilege for employee?
Yes, that's
discounts?
right.
Every
so-
school's got that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So why is there any other choice?
No.
Well, that's what you got to tell your daughter.
I'm
You
handling
get
this
one
delicately. Yeah.
And this one.
I was given advice by I was working up in Boston, and it was a member of the board of this nonprofit that was a professor at MIT, and my son at the time was thinking of going to colleges, and he said, "Don't apply to MIT as an undergrad." I said, "What's your point?" He said, "Look, if you're going to go into a profession that's going to probably require you, or at least you have an expectation of getting a graduate degree, go to the school that's got a reasonable program in your specialty and a low tuition, get your bachelor's degree, and then get really good grades, and then apply for graduate school at MIT or one of the prestigious universities." He said, "Because your credential still looks like you're an MIT grad."
Yeah.
Exactly.
He said, "Don't waste your money on a bachelor's degree if you're going to plan to get a graduate degree anyway." So my son went to Boston University, and it cost an arm and a leg.
Well, yeah. They're not cheap.
No.
Wow.
Oh, it's crazy.
No, I-
He didn't go to MIT. I'm not sure if we made out on that one, though. I think it's about even.
But I had a family member that did something similar to that. He went to UMass Dartmouth back when before it was called UMass Dartmouth.
Right.
And I forget what it was called before that, but it was like almost like something junior college or just college back then for 3 years. And then he transferred to Bryant. So he graduated
Smart.
from Bryant, and that's what his degree says,
Yes,
and that's what his diploma says.
That irritated me to no end when I
Did
was
it?
paying for myself to go to Bryant when it was Bryant College, and I got to my third year, and all of a sudden there was this
Here comes
influx
influx
of
of
students,
students.
and it said,
Where y'all
"Where
come
you
from?"
guys come from?"
Oh, the cheap
Rhode-
schools.
Rhode Island Junior College.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the first
the way to
2
do it.
years.
That's a thing?
The
You
first
could do
2
that?
years, yeah. Back
No,
then
no,
you
I'm
could.
saying that was
can't-
what you were
can't
saying
anymore.
yourself.
But apparently the first 2 years at Bryant for an accounting degree was exactly the same as the accounting associate's degree program
At
at
CCRI?
CCRI.
Wow.
Which at the time I still think
Yeah.
was junior college.
Rhode Island Junior College.
And so if you took all of these courses, they allowed you to transfer 100% of the credits to Bryant. And people paid for Bryant for 2 years after going to Rhode Island Junior College for 2 years.
Paid $500 a year at Rhode Island Junior
Most.
College.
Crazy.
Most irritating.
Yeah, 'cause
As
you
I
didn't think of
said,
it.
because I was paying tuition myself.
Okay. Break time once again here in the Coffee and program. Comments and questions can be called in 766-1240. This portion of Coffee and has been sponsored by Navigant Credit Union.
Big banks offer you everything these days. Bank from home, bank from your phone, even apply for a loan from anywhere you are. It's called Big Bank Tech, and it's pretty cool. Did you know you don't have to go to a big bank to be pretty cool? Navigant Credit Union offers their members all the big bank tech without the big bank. And if you want to come into a branch to see us, we'll make you feel like you own the place, because you do. We think that's pretty cool, too. Navigant Credit Union, member NCUA.
Preparations for Thanksgiving are ramping up. This year, make things easier on yourself and pre-order your desserts at Phantom Farms in Cumberland. Stop in and fill out the Thanksgiving holiday order form for freshly baked pies, cookies, cakes, and more, plus gluten-free options. And keep this in mind, the completed form needs to be turned in to Phantom Farms by Sunday, November 20th for pickup before Thanksgiving. Don't delay. Come to Phantom Farms, 2920 Diamond Hill Road, Cumberland, today.
We're here on the floor at Family Discount Furniture, corner of Social Street and Diamond Hill Road. I'm standing with all these different beds and bedroom sets around us, and Brad's standing next to me. Brad, tell us about this thing, and you've got mattresses galore.
Yeah, so our mattress lineup, we run a bunch of different ones from different vendors. We actually have all different sizes, twin, full, queen, king. We run adjustable beds. We have memory foam, cooling gel, ultra plush. We have something for everybody's needs.
You got the ones that articulate, that go up and down, or the ones that just lay there because that's what you do.
Oh, yeah, sure, at the absolute lowest prices around.
I see something that people can't buy when they come to Family Discount Furniture. There's a sign right over here in the bureau that says Best Mattress Store.
So we were actually voted Reader's Choice for 2022. Best in Business Mattress Store. Our mattress selection is very, very good. We have something for everyone, like I was saying before. And remember, Dave, we offer a 90-day, no credit needed, $49 down, have now, pay later.
That's Family Discount Furniture, corner of Social Street and Diamond Hill Road here in Woonsocket.
Delicacies from the deep is what you'll find at Wilfred Seafood. Lobsters, shrimp, steamers, cod fillets, and more tasty seafood is what you'll encounter at Wilfred Seafood. If you can't catch your dinner yourself, the next best thing is picking up the freshest seafood at Wilfred Seafood. They guarantee that you'll be satisfied. Check out the Wilfred Seafood Facebook page to see the constantly changing specials they offer. Wilfred Seafood, 805 Cumberland Hill Road, Woonsocket.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
All right, Coffee and here on ON Radio. Joe Callahan here with John Ward and Melissa Smith. And should we go with the amusing stuff, or should we do one more serious thing?
I'll give you one more serious, only because we have 12 minutes, not
All
10.
right. John, you've never been a big fan of the wind farm off of Rhode Island?
Of the what?
The wind farm? I thought you...
No, not really, no.
And now the commercial offshore wind farm planned for southern New England running into more difficulties.
Yes, they're trying to run a wire from underwater from the wind farm to
Yeah, plan to bury a cable.
up the bay by Fall River and
Would run the
Brayton-
cables would
Brayton
run
Point.
up the Saconnet River,
Saconnet River
to the former Brayton
Brayton
Point
Point
Power Station,
yes.
in Somerset.
And some people are objecting.
What's the problem?
I don't know.
The cable's underwater, you don't see it. Does
I
it
don't
affect the
know.
fish?
Maybe they're afraid the fishing nets are going to get caught in it. I have no idea.
Okay.
You can mark that one under the category of I don't care.
You don't care? Okay. Now,
I care that the story you mentioned the other day, though, about Tom Brady being the first quarterback to win games in
four different countries.
Yes. That's important news. Compared to that.
All right. You know what's more important? Giselle was spotted with another man. How about
Yes.
that? That was
Also,
quick.
also, the paparazzi caught her not looking so well made up the other day.
Oh, no.
Even on her worst day,
looked-
I
No,
would,
no.
I would take it.
No, she looked very human.
You?
Oh, that's
She doesn't look human before.
Well, when they get them too far along, it's too much makeup. They stop looking human. They start looking.
I just find it amazing that Tom is
Alienish.
playing so much better now that he's divorced. Isn't that?
well. I think it's just
Odd.
it's out, right? It's out in the open.
I think it's because
maybe that's it.
he's actually playing a lot better because he's desperate to make back all the money he lost on that crypto scam.
Oh gosh.
All right.
So he may actually need to play until he's 55 to get another contract to make some money back.
No problem. He'll be a Patriot then. All right. Now, it's no secret that Pete Rose wants to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame,
Yes.
and he sent off a letter asking for forgiveness from Major League Baseball. Sent it to the commissioner's office, saying, "Please lift my permanent ban from baseball." He was exiled from the game in
hope they do.
1989.
I really hope they do.
You know,
I'm tired of this
I am too.
game of because
He's a bad
gambled,
person.
he's a bad person, and therefore
Well, he gambled on-
He was a great
They're-
baseball player.
That's right.
Period.
but he gambled on the games he was managing. That's their real issue.
Okay,
I'm just saying.
but
But yeah, if you go with he's not a good person, neither was Ty Cobb.
yeah,
And neither was Babe Ruth.
yeah. Ty
These were
Cobb,
terrible people.
If Ty Cobb were playing today, doing the things he was doing then, he'd be in jail.
That's right.
That would be assault with a deadly weapon when
Mm.
you consider what he used to do with his spikes.
Yep. You know what he used to do? The spikes on the bottom of the shoe are square. He would
He'd sharpen them.
he'd file them down to a point and come into second, slide into second
slide
base,
and then stab.
foot up,
Foot up.
Oh my God.
stabbing the shortstop of the second baseman.
Wouldn't it be kind of a good idea if, like, all of the Hall of Fame, so we're talking in specific right now about the Baseball Hall of Fame, but if there's like two wings established, right, that you're
The bad people.
right, you have the at the time, anyways, that they're inducted, the clean and the good stories, and then
Yeah.
the questionable stories over here. But as you know, new research is found
but
and studies
there's
and whatnot,
nothing-
you can move from one wing to the other.
Well,
you can
but
you
you
can
could-
be
you
moved
could-
over.
You could put Pete Rose in there for his statistics and the information about how he came to the game and how he worked so hard to get there and how he was basically not the physical specimen you would expect, and he still muscled his way through both with brain power and determination, and then you can put the story about the things he did wrong.
A little
Here are the-
asterisk.
here are the
Nothing
scandals.
wrong with
Yeah,
that.
a little asterisk below.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the guys that juiced up. Mm-hmm. I don't, do you leave them out of the Hall of Fame forever? Because, yeah, maybe because the guys that were doing the steroids, that's a different measure because their good results were a direct result of doing something that's not supposed to be done.
Sure.
Where
And
I
they're-
don't know that Pete Rose's statistics were affected by his gambling.
Well, they weren't because I don't think he was gambling at that time.
That's
He-
right.
He wasn't gambling
That's
as a
my
player.
point. But the
Yeah.
guys that were taking the steroids
That's when they were playing.
That's when they were
is
playing.
when they were
it
playing,
influenced their play.
and the home runs they were hitting were a direct result of taking the steroids.
But taking the steroids makes you stronger. It doesn't make you able to hit the ball
it
better.
makes you faster too,
Yeah, you got a faster swing,
faster swing.
but you got to swing in the right area where the ball is, or else you're hitting
yes,
nothing.
but the point is that the muscle mass and the speed of the bat is what's propelling the ball out of the stadium. That for things that would, to a significant extent, otherwise be fly balls to the outfield.
All right.
And so it is affecting the home run numbers.
And I think the baseball commissioner right now, Rob Manfred, whoever is the commissioner, they just don't want to be that guy that lets him back in, that immediately puts them down in history.
And it's funny
as
to
the
hear
guy
that.
who let
in
Rose
this
back
day,
in.
in this day and age, it's kind of funny to hear that, frankly, because there's been
it's
such
just
a
a theory.
change in attitude about how you deal with people who have personal problems and
Yeah.
and other matters that affect them. It's like I'm going to hearken to a local issue where there used to be one of the reasons to remove someone from office was drunkenness. And they changed it to substance abuse. And my
Okay.
question now in 2022 is, should that even be in there?
Be there. Yeah.
Because
I don't know.
people with substance abuse problems should not necessarily be dealt with punitively, but rather you recognize it and you find a way to counsel them out of whatever it is they're doing that's affected by that substance abuse. But you don't throw them out unceremoniously.
Okay.
Just
So
my
no
opinion.
word on Major League Baseball on what they're going to do about this
I
at
hope
all.
they let him. I hope they let him.
I would
be
like
put
to
on
see
the
him come
ballot.
in because He's got the most hits in Major League Baseball history. That
It's-
person should be in the Hall of Fame just on that stat alone.
It's just there are some people that outperform what appears to be their physical capabilities, and they only do it through grit and determination.
Do you have an opinion on this, Melissa? Should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame? This argument's been going on
I don't
since he
really
got
have an
picked out.
invested opinion in it.
All right.
But I think it goes back to that, like, everyone gets a trophy moment, right? There has to be some people that the line is drawn, and I'm sorry, you're not going to be let in. These are our standards, and you did not comply or meet with them, and it takes away from the other people who have been inducted. But
But I don't know if that's written down anywhere.
again, I don't have an
with Major
invested
League
opinion
Baseball
in this.
about
So for me,
gambling.
it's
I don't.
like,
I don't. I think
It's more
there's a
like
rule in
public
baseball
opinion.
against gambling, but I don't know that
Yeah.
there's a rule about the Hall of Fame eligibility. That
Yeah.
was a decision that the commissioner made about the eligibility. I don't think there's a hard and fast rule about that.
but if you're talking about him as a player versus as a manager, and he's being inducted as a player
Player.
for
Yes.
his stats as a player, then I
Yes.
think okay. But if
Okay.
it were about his whole career span, then that would be questionable.
They only look at your playing statistics,
Mm-hmm.
not what you did. Unless you didn't play, then they look at your managerial, like Tommy Lasorda. Wasn't a very
Right.
good player, but he's in the Hall of Fame because of
But
his
it doesn't
good
add to
Because
his
he was
stats
such a
like
good
winning
manager.
record as a manager in addition to a player. It's
I don't
just
think-
as a
Right.
player.
I don't think Casey Stengel's record as a player was anything to shake a stick at.
Right. Billy Martin, the same thing. Although he was with the Yankees
He was
in
a
the
pretty
50s.
good player, but he wasn't a Hall
He
of Fame
wasn't great,
player.
yeah.
But he was a good player.
All right. Melissa, you saved $4,000 by not buying Taylor Swift tickets. I need you to keep adding to that amount, okay? Because Wynn Resorts out there in Vegas and Formula One, they're teaming up and they're offering a $1 million ticket package for next year's Las Vegas Grand Prix and related events for $1 million. All right. Groups of 6 people. Oh, you can split it up amongst 6. All right. Groups of 6 people will get all access passes to events during the full November 2023 race weekend. All right. Got a whole year to get this money together. And some of the VIP events are not even open to the public. And the package will also come with a 4-night Encore hotel stay featuring 24-hour butler service. Oh, Jeeves. get me my robe.
So people who can afford to do this
Yeah,
are
that's-
out of touch with reality.
Please warm,
So let's
please warm
just,
my tea.
That's right.
Yeah, if you can afford to do
To do
that,
this.
you need to do a little self-evaluation.
Well, this is the Elon Musks of the
This
world.
is
would do
unbelievable.
something- Would do
Right.
something like this.
Yes, Zuckerberg will be in attendance.
Yeah, and Jeff Bezos.
Bezos will be in attendance.
They do stuff like this. All right. This is kind of funny. A man in China, Beijing, they think that he's the first person to run an entire marathon, 26 miles and 300 whatever feet it is, while smoking cigarettes. Had the whole thing in his mouth the entire time, and he just kept changing cigarettes. He's 50 years old.
Love this claim to fame.
This is
really
it. 50-year-old was either smoking or lighting up a cigarette during all 26 miles of the marathon. Uncle Chen, as he's known, completed the marathon in a respectable 3 hours and 45 minutes. This was his 3rd marathon, and he runs it while smoking. Those are some tough
chain
lungs.
smoking.
Chain
smoking.
smoking. Where do you keep the cigarettes in the?
This isn't in the
on your
Guinness.
person?
This isn't a Guinness record.
It's not a
at all,
Guinness
is it?
record.
Oh, good.
No, they'd have to throw it up to Guinness to is that even a category?
It's a
Of
nauseating thought.
Who smokes while running? Oh my gosh!
I occasionally will enjoy like a cigar. I am a lover of an occasional cigar by a fire.
But not
and I
while
have
you're
to tell you,
running.
no. What I was going to say is I don't even finish that. And I feel like my whole throat is just filled with extra phlegm and difficulties breathing. Imagine, and I also run. So imagine running that long of a distance, cigarette after cigarette after. I can't even understand how someone can breathe.
I don't know. How
I
they
would
breathe.
feel like right?
I guess
He
you
can't
know,
be inhaling the whole time. It's just sitting in the corner of his mouth.
unless it's in his hand.
Could be. He could be just.
Okay,
sucking in.
breathe,
He could-
drag, blow out the smoke, breathe. It can't be just in his
It
mouth the
creates
entire
phlegm.
time.
It
Oh,
creates
yeah.
coughing. You
Well,
can't run that
past the-
long. With
Well, he did it
So
in
he-
3
it's-
hours and
it's a-
almost 4 hours, but that's not bad.
well,
you
we
know,
got
for
people
26
talking
months.
about it, and look,
How-
we are
how about
talking about
that?
it.
So-
So
That
All
doesn't,
right.
that doesn't
It's a
meet the
gimmick.
standard of the David Cicilline on Twitter story.
No, I guess not. But these women, we got to wrap things up. But 4 women from Texas, they're charged with stealing thousands of dollars in makeup from a Kohl's store. Now, the reason I bring it up is they're all from Texas. They drove from Texas, I'm not sure what part of Texas, but it's still a long way, to St. Louis to go to the Kohl's in St. Louis to steal and then hit other Kohl's stores like on their way back. St. Louis County Prosecutor's Office charges the women drove from Texas to St. Louis, stole more than $22,000 in cosmetics from several Kohl's this month. They shoplifted $12,000 in merchandise from Sephora at the Kohl's in Fenton, Missouri on Friday and accused of thefts at other stores. This is pretty well planned out.
I have to tell you, I'm not surprised. I think
Really?
so. The design of so you're not makeup wearers.
No.
Again, I've got 2 teenage girls, Sephora, Ulta. These are stores that they frequent.
They like it? All right.
They put them inside of a department store.
Yes.
So it's a large department store, spread out staff, etc. When you go to a dedicated Sephora or Ulta, there are tons of staff on every corner. They're closely watching. They've got cameras.
But at Kohl's.
But in a Kohl's,
It could be anywhere.
it's huge. It's spread out. I mean, I from the moment I went in, I knew it was going to be a disaster. But anyways, not surprised that someone thought to themselves, hey, I can do this and not get caught.
How much cosmetics how many bottles is $22,000 worth of cosmetics?
Not as much as you think.
Yeah,
it adds
really?
up pretty quick.
A couple
Does
of
it?
big bags.
And that's
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
And you're covered. All right. Well, that doesn't. That's a lot. That's a lot of cosmetics. All right. That'll do it for the show for today. Thank you very much for listening in, everyone. Always appreciated. Melissa Smith, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me. See you next week.
Very good. And John Ward, thanks for coming in.
Though it's rainy and cold, and we went from summer to winter in a span of about 72 hours. Enjoy the God-given day.
Very good. This is Joe Callahan. Have a great day, everyone. Stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do you remember coming up at 9:30 here on ON Radio?
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. Well, as it turns out, there's no new snow for Rhode Island last night, but the area got plenty of cold rain from a winter weather system impacting New England. Parts of Massachusetts and Connecticut, however, have measured 1 to 2 inches of snow. The local National Weather Service forecast calls for more rain during the day today. A former campaign chairman for Donald Trump in Rhode Island thinks it's a bad idea. That's a quote. That Trump is running for president in 2024. Joe Trillo tells Channel 12 TV News that Trump is too divisive and that it's time to move on. However, Trillo added that even though he doesn't think Trump should run again, he would support him over any Democratic candidate.
Are you looking for solutions to meet your business banking needs? At Milford Federal, the longest-standing community bank in the area, they offer customized solutions for commercial lending, cash management, online banking, and payment processing services. Their business banking team is committed to the growth and success of your business with